Game One for sponsoring today's episode of the Protect You podcast. And we got to give quick shout outs as the big holiday over the weekend was, of course, Mother's Day. We got to shout out the various mothers of the Protect You staff. Jay, I'm sure you were very happy to celebrate your Mother's Day, obviously, with Ashley and baby Jay, but then we got to also show some love to Madison, the mother hen, making sure everything goes well, Mrs. Farrell, and then, of course, who could forget our administrative assistant, Hazel.
Yes. I like Hazel's background, too.
That was a nice looking setup that they had over there.
The Philippines mountains with the water.
Yeah.
And she said that they live somewhere nice over
It's
there.
very scenic looking. Well,
yes.
Obviously, we had to celebrate that, as well as we had to celebrate a lot of the other mothers of the Protect You crew members. Those of y'all that watch our social media, y'all got to see that great post that we had out there commemorating and celebrating the great mothers that lead the journeys in a lot of ways for our talented athletes. And our hearts go out to each and every one of y'all for the incredible support that y'all have given to your athletes, to us as a company of Protection United, but then also just everything that you do as moms. It cannot go understated how appreciative we all are for you.
Yeah, the real MVPs.
Of course.
The real MVP. they produce the greatness and we get to represent them. But yes, no, definitely happy for our guys. And, it's not easy, right, to do what they do and take care of babies. So definitely appreciate all their hard work for sure.
But with that in mind, y'all, welcome on into another episode of the Protection United podcast. I'm Jake Wilson, as always, alongside Jay Mickens. Jay, we got an action-packed episode, man, and I feel like we got to dive headfirst into this as breaking news happened late last night as a recent article was published through CBS Sports and the author Brandon Marcello, where he talks about the CSC, the College Sports Commission, winning its arbitration against the University of Nebraska, and more specifically, their football players, where they're trying to outline whether or not the school's multimedia rights partner is associated as a, quote, associated entity. And the court did rule in favor of the CSC against the players. There's a lot of technical jargon that's in that. There's a lot more deeper understanding that it goes into this article, and it's not even necessarily final either. This still does move now to a Northern District of California court on May 27th. But, Jay, in talking about the initial process and what this really brings to the forefront here is essentially outlining what the powers of the CSC will be as they continue to define more of this NIL era.
Yeah. We're starting to see a lot of universities, mainly more so in the Big 12, I would say, where they're trying to partner up with these outside companies, right? When you're trying to compete with the Big 10, trying to compete with the SEC, and then even within some of those schools in those said conferences, right, that don't have that alumni base that's kind of pouring into helping with those endorsements, you got to start thinking outside the box, right? And so trying to partner up with certain companies. And I think in this situation, right, the biggest thing that was missed was, if you're going to compensate these athletes for these outside endorsement deals, right, it's the products and service line, right? What service are they going to be provided? You can't just pay a kid $500,000 and say, just come do a 30-second ad read saying that you like my sports media outlet, right? So a lot of that, I think Nebraska probably tried to cut through some of that red tape. And unfortunately, on this first round, they lost. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, and it's not necessarily the big play of the big entity taking advantage of the small guys and taking advantage of these college athletes, because as the article goes on to state, and quote, such deals are barred under CSC rules. Those deals under scrutiny are worth more than $1 million combined, end quote. This is something that has already been outlined, but now it's just a matter of catching it in the net. And we're making sure that these things don't go unnoticed, because if we can set the legal precedent now, it's going to make things a lot easier moving down the track.
Yeah, no. And you're right on that front. But then on the other side of the coin, it's not going to make as much easy as when you've been recruiting these athletes and you've been negotiating these NIL deals, right? Because you can now offer a kid, say, $500,000, right, for their services, right, for their NIL. But 300 might have been earmarked coming out of the rev share, and then the other 200 grand could be coming from said company, right? Now that 200 grand is gone. So now that $500,000 deal now is going down to 300,000. does that keep you in the running now, Nebraska, right? You know, you got schools right down the street that might be able to offer a little bit more either through the rev share or because their companies that they're working with have been approved by the CSC and they've already uploaded and gone through the NIL Go. And, you know, here at Protection United, that's what we have been, you know, all over in regards to making sure that every deal that our athletes get, that we go through that process. We do all the red tape. Our administrative staff here, you just saw a couple of the ladies on the Mother's Day montage that they would take the deal. We first go with our sports attorney, right, Josh Freezer, which I can't wait to get him on to talk about what's going on here. But reading through those contracts, right? Then after reading through those contracts, then we upload it through NIL Go, right? Making sure that everything is ironclad. And we've been blessed because we're batting 1,000, right? And, you know, we have not had one deal get rejected for our athletes. And I think that's where, you know, Nebraska in this situation might have dropped the ball. I think they thought big company, they got enough clout to kind of just push this through. But, you know, not reading through that fine print, not truly understanding the do's and don'ts that the CSC has clearly laid out and explained of, you know, what's going to be improved and what's not.
Yes, and I like, too, that the CSC is using this as an example to build upon and really embody what the House settlement was talking about, of trying to iron out and make sure that there aren't these shady deals going on. There aren't these backroom, under the table types of, hey, you just come and do this for a couple of seconds like you were talking about, we'll get you paid this big lump sum deal. I like that we continue to see farther and farther steps towards regulation, where the more that we can talk about this is a smooth process, the more that we can talk about this follows a regulatory process, I think the better off we will be in terms of not having to worry about the debate of the big school versus the small guy, where now it's everyone has to follow the same rules no matter where we're talking about in the country.
Right. And, you know, with Nebraska being in the Big Ten, I mean, you know, I think they probably thought, oh, this will be just easy. We've seen other schools with bigger companies. I mean, because, you know, now you got investment firms, right, that have thrown their hat in the ring. And I think that they were just assuming that this could actually help just the social media company, right? Why would that get blocked? But once again, it's all about, you know, those services, right? And what's the real connection, you know, going to be. So interested to continue to follow this story, though, as it continues to grow legs. And, you know, as you mentioned, right, you know, it's going to be now in the hands of a California judge. And things are a little bit different out in Cali, Jake. I know you're from there. I like San Diego.
I do like out there in San Diego. My family's got some deep roots out there in the California area.
Yeah.
But the article does mention that too, of how the CSC is looking at this as now it's an uphill battle. We understand that where California is really where a lot of this got started. I mean, you're talking about the Ed O'Bannon case against UCLA all those years ago.
Yeah.
So you're moving it now to a state that is leaning a lot more pro-athlete. Yeah. And so we might see this arbitration case completely flip on its head 100%. In the other direction.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And I like, too, that the article also points out, and the multiple quotes that they use throughout this is one of them is essentially that, look, the arbitration is great, but the real decision is going to happen when this moves over to the courts.
Right.
And that's where I think a lot of this, as it further develops here and goes to the court on May 27th, a lot of this will really get ironed out.
Yeah.
And that's where we'll finally set the precedent that'll guide everything moving forward.
100%. And that's a great, you know, you talk about timing, could be, I don't think any more perfect than it is for Nebraska because, right, July 1st, that's when they'll get their new funding of the rev share for the upcoming season, right? And they'll know, right, hopefully by that time, as long as it doesn't get drug out too long in court, they'll know, okay, we do have these funds available. We can now also use these funds to go with our rev share, or they're going to have to say, well, we didn't win, and now we need to rearrange that rev share and how we're going to, you know, break out our salary cap. Because remember, they got to use that for not only transfer portal for next year, but they also got to use it for retention to make sure they don't lose the guys that, you know, are producing. So
exactly.
But I will say with Raiola going to Oregon, I think he freed up some salary cap.
Probably. Say he freed up a lot of space on that. And obviously, as this story continues to develop, we will be sure to keep track of things as they come along because we understand that this is going to set the precedent moving forward for how a lot of these deals are scrutinized and how a lot of this will eventually take place in the future. But with that in mind, we got to stay in the news here as we transition over to crew in the news. As some of y'all know, the graduation time has really started to hit us here as we move later and later into May. And one of the guys that really got to celebrate his graduation in full force was our man, Dylan Kinney, who still playing at TCU, but he was able to secure his master's. Congratulations goes out to Dylan and the rest of the Kinney family.
I love that. Look at Mama Erica. You got my guy Rod. I know they are proud parents. I'll never forget when we got Dylan from Abilene Christian and helped him in the transfer portal to get to TCU. I know Mom was ecstatic because the first thing out of her mouth was, my baby's going to get an even better education, right? You know, graduating from one of the most prestigious universities in America, and he got his master's degree, right? So look at Dylan, man. He's right over your, what is that, your left shoulder.
Right over my left.
Right over your left. I mean, what a great guy. Going to get to start at center this year for TCU. But most importantly, he got that degree.
Yes.
And guess what, man? We got somebody else that's a TCU grad. I think he graduated from TCU. He went there. So let's just go ahead and give him a degree, even if it's an honorary degree. But can't wait to get our guy on the set. And maybe we'll ask him about his thoughts about, you know, his fellow alumni, you know, getting that master's degree with one more year left of eligibility.
Absolutely, because like we said, the education part of this is incredibly important. It has to be the focal point.
Right.
Student comes before the athlete and student athlete. And it's good to see that our guys continue to get it done in the classroom. Congratulations once again to our guy, Dylan. And before we move into this next segment, I'd like to take some time to thank the sponsor of today's episode. That is Game One. Looking to elevate your game? At Game One, we come alongside your team to provide custom uniforms, apparel, and equipment built for performance and delivered with unmatched service. Plus, our online team and fan stores make it easy for athletes and parents to get custom gear anytime, anywhere. Visit game-one.com today to learn more because your team deserves the best. Smooth transition in here as we welcome on in for the first time another member of the Protect You staff.
Yeah.
Another one of those great people that works behind the scenes and making sure that our guys are constantly keeping their financial know-how up to shape. And that is our guy, Sanjay. Sanjay, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Hey, it's a great pleasure, gentlemen. Really enjoying being here with you.
I love it, Sanjay. Man, my guy, brother. Been blessed to meet you, right? I mean, so happy.
Yeah.
So happy. I know in the green room, we were talking offline a little bit, but, you know, for me, and, you know, Jake, you know a little bit about the story, right? Me just knowing, you know, if we were going to make this work at Protection United, I had to be full-time. I mean, we couldn't go ask these parents for us to represent their most precious assets, right? Pun intended on the word assets, right? But I'm part-time. Right. You know, one foot in the JSJ Consultants boat, the other foot in the Protection United boat. So it was not going to work. Right. So I had to make a decision, not an easy decision. However, it ended up being a very great decision, Sanjay. I'm, you know, honored, brother, that you have taken JSJ and now is going to take it to the next level. But most importantly, my friend, right, we still get to work together, right? Share clients and athletes. But talk to us, you know, just from your side of it, of when you first, you know, from me, heard about Protection United, and what was your initial thoughts? And now, you know, as you got to watch it grow from, you know, the county financial side.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is, well, obviously it's incredibly impressive what y'all have built, right? And then you could see that from the beginning. You could see, you know, we looked at a lot of businesses to acquire, honestly, when we were looking at JSJ Consultants, and there's always a story from somebody about why they're selling. But when I heard your story about what you were doing with Protection United, saw what you were up to, it's like, okay, this guy's got something real going on, right? There's a real thing happening here that deserves a lot of energy and interest. And we could be a little part of that, right? There's something that we could do as on the bookkeeping side to really buttress and support and get involved in that growth. And that's what's so exciting about it, is you can find good people to work with and you find a good team to put around it, right?
Yes, sir. No, I love that. And from your viewpoint now, right, you know, you being managing partner now at JSJ, what have you noticed, and did you think you would ever be in this era where you got athletes in accounting and now they're married?
Yeah, it's a crazy combination. But when I look at these athletes and I look at the financial opportunities that are coming their way, we are really turning these young men and young women into entrepreneurs, right? They're coming in with the same questions, the same structures, the same problems that somebody's going out and starting a restaurant or a plumbing business or whatever, an entrepreneurial enterprise they're getting involved in. And so it becomes immediately obvious to me where that overlap is, right? Because they're trying to build their future, not just what am I going to major in, but how this money that they're coming in access to, how these business and media opportunities, how does that build into a platform for really their entire future? So entrepreneurially makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Absolute fit.
Yeah. And I mean, and you obviously, so the five that you see on the wall, we call this, what do you call these, Jay?
These are the pillars.
The five pillars of it, right? And Sanjay, and you represent three of them. That's on this wall right now, right? You just saw Dylan, one of your shared clients, get his master's degree, right? And then, of course, Justin Williams, and then, of course, DJ Lagway. Yeah. So you're getting to see it from all different angles, right? And from different positions. How interesting has that been for you to see, like, wow, okay, a quarterback is worth this, and then these are the expenses, and then this is how I got to get creative to help with tax savings versus a linebacker and then an offensive lineman?
Yeah, so it's really interesting to see for me how what they are doing. I liken their initial first steps to learning their footwork, right? As an athlete, you start with the basics, right? You get your footwork right, the performance grows from there, right? And we do the same thing on the financial side, right? It's that first big check, and you're going to maybe go buy a car, do some fun stuff, right? Have some fun with the money, but then you want to put in place the infrastructure, right? Whether it's the multi-million-dollar big deal or whether it's a couple $100,000, you put in place the infrastructure to ensure your future success, so that you have foundations, right? That you have something to fall back on, and that's the same whether it's $200,000 or $2 million, right? It's that same construction, right, if you will, and that same foundation that you really want to put in place.
Right. Yeah. And I think what I've loved the most about, getting to like watch how you've been working with our clients, our shared clients, I should say here, right, between Protection United and JJ Consultants, is the fact that you have truly been like that coach off the field. I mean, I've been blessed, Jake, to sit on some Zooms, and I just got to hit the mute button and watch Sanjay go to work. And, he'll talk like, hey, I know you bought some jewelry here. We got this, but let's set this up, right? And, getting to watch him, like, educate on setting yourself up on payroll and setting up and doing your own 401k. But Sanjay, talk to us about how have you been able to truly reach our athletes in essence of basically not only letting them know that they're a walking LLC, but also explaining to them how there really can be an employee of their own company and benefit from a tax savings perspective.
Yeah, I mean, and that's nice of you to say, Jay. I think that, like I said, these are young entrepreneurs, really, and you have to put that in the context that they understand it. There are a lot of things we can do on the tax side, not just for today. We're all worried about, hey, look, April 15 just went by. We're all worried about that bill, right? And we're going to do whatever we can. There's a lot of things in the tax code that are complicated that we can simplify, make access to, make work for the individual. But then we put in the infrastructure so that when that next big check comes in, when that next big investment opportunity comes in, we're set up to take advantage of that in the most tax efficient way and the best long range planning way for those young athletes. And communicating most of these topics are actually not that hard. There is a lot of it, right? And it's just like the legal things you guys were just talking about. Man, there's a lot of buzzwords flying around there about this ruling and that court and this arbitration. You boil it down, and it's really simple principles. What can we defer, right? What can we take credit for? What can we put in place for tomorrow? These are all things that are smart. These smart young men and women, right? They get it if you put it in the language that they've been educated in, right? And so that's been one of the great pleasures is when you talk to these great families and these great young men, great young women, they know they're smart enough to hear this conversation and see how it translates for them. And that makes the job easy, right? You take a smart person with good resources, strong family connections, the taxes and the bookkeeping just work out. It's just no problem with that.
Okay. And then you talk about smart people, right? You got some smart people on your team, right? I mean, like, look, the whole world has been told if you don't use QuickBooks, then you don't have an accounting system. However, Sanjay, you have created your own accounting software. Tell us the name of that and tell us what it's about and what separates your accounting software from QuickBooks.
Yeah. So, we set out a couple of years ago and we said, this whole QuickBooks thing is broken, right? This is something you take a small business. You did not get into opening a restaurant or being a professional athlete so that you could do bookkeeping, right? That's not what you said. I hope one day that I know how to use QuickBooks. That's not your goal in life, right? Let's be honest. So we said that software was built for an accountant, right? It was built for someone who's trained in that. And we said, let's do something for the owner, right? The business owner is the audience. And so we went out and we are applying all the latest buzzwords you hear about AI and big data and all that stuff to build software that is owner first. And when we talk about something that's owner first, we talk about it 3 key principles. 1, let's make it easy for them. It should not be hard work to know how much money you're making, right? And the second thing is, let's make it useful, right? When your accountant gets on the phone and gives you a bunch of complicated financial statements and balance sheets and reconciliations and this and that and the other, that's not useful to you, right? What you want to know is, where did my cash come from? Where is my cash going? How do I do compared to the other people around me? What can I improve? Useful, everyday financial information is what you as an owner really want to see, right? And the last thing is, look, sometimes this shit gets stressful, right? I mean, now it's time to do your taxes. Now it's time to go get a loan from the bank. And that's just, there's nothing you can do about that being stressful. What you can do, though, is build a system that understands that stress, right? And does all the work on the back end to make sure that you're in perfect shape when that comes up. So that when that tax guy shows up, when that bank guy shows up, you have all the answers. Even if you don't know you have the answers, you have them because they're in the system. And so we built Clarity, is what we call it, because it's trying to make things clear.
I like
right? So we built the Clarity system. It's live. You can get it anywhere. We have all of our joint clients, because athletes are on the platform. They're getting to see where their cash comes in, goes out every day. And really allows them to do what they're good at, which is be smart, be the CEO of their walking LLC, as you like to call it, Jay, and focus on what they're good at, right? And then we focus on all that other stuff.
And we work with John Rittenauer, right? I hooked Jake up with that. Got his taxes done by John, and
very nice.
John is obviously taking those same financials, and even John is not even noticing a change from his side, in essence of being able for him to do what he needs to do, as well. So, once again, brother, I mean, I love what you brought, to the table. So, last question for you, right? Tonight we get to have a little fun, right? You're in town.
That's right.
Coming in from Portland, Oregon.
That's right. I flew all the way across the country. It's going to be early for me.
Just for the podcast.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you're like, I guess I'll go see the team too.
I guess so. I have to.
But tonight, man, I'm looking forward to it. Just now you kind of getting more entrenched into this world, right? From the standpoint of, getting to know your new team that you've inherited right by the purchase, and getting to work with them. Talk to us about, what you seen and just the transition of you implementing your new ideas, and then how has it kind of taken place with the clients are starting to see it and also enjoy that transition as well.
Yeah, no, it's so first of all, Jay built a fantastic team.
Well, thank you.
Right. I mean, that's like any good coach, right? You can only be as good as the players, right? And so one of the great things about JSJ Consultants has been that there was this infrastructure in place, right? There were hardworking. I always say there's two things you need. You need to be smart. You need to be hardworking.
Yeah.
Right. Give me those two things.
Facts.
We'll figure out the rest. Right. So smart, hardworking team. It was great to bring in. We've augmented that team. We're hiring new people, additional people, adding resources, bringing in expertise in a variety of areas. We're going to take the platform. We're going to go nationwide with it. And I think we've talked a lot about this, right? We're going to go, it's not just Texas. It's not just the Southeast. It's a national play here. And when we originally bought the business, one of the reasons we bought it was we said, what's going to be our platform to springboard into a national presence? And so hopefully you'll be seeing the brand. Hopefully you'll be seeing the software. Hopefully you'll be seeing the team out and doing business in all over the country pretty soon.
No, I love that, brother. Well, along with that, Jake, he also serves as my wine connoisseur.
There you go.
Bro, I can't go to a fancy restaurant without FaceTiming this man. I bet his wife is like, why is Jay always FaceTiming you? And the first day, Sanjay didn't even see my face. Like, he'll just see the wine list.
That's right.
And he's just like, yeah, Jay, tell the waiter this. Now I'm like, can you tell the waiter? They're right here, Sanjay. I can't pronounce this word. And so he tells them, but he's batting 1,000 every time.
Well, so I'm from Portland, Oregon, right? We have a luscious wine country. If y'all haven't seen that, you should come out with some of the best Pinot Noir in the country.
Oh man, okay.
Out, and then, but yeah, I mean, hey, look, you got to turn your bad habits into a good trait. So if I'm going to spend all this money drinking wine, well, maybe I ought to recommend it out to my buddies. Right? Yeah, that's not a bad way to spend an afternoon.
It's refined. It's elevated.
There you go. There you go.
Very true.
There you go.
Well, Sanjay, thank you once again for taking the time to come on and I think enlighten a lot of people where, like you've said, this is a very stressing process for a lot of people is worrying about their money because it's important to them. It's the backbone that a lot of actions in this modern world have to be built off of is their financials. And so to hear you explain it and to put it into layman terms that a lot of people can understand, that I think is the real power of what y'all are doing at JSJ and the real power that you bring to the great athletes of Protection United. So thank you again for taking this opportunity.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's been a real pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
Of course, of course. And we'd like to take a little bit of time as well to thank JSJ itself. Whether you're an athlete, entrepreneur, or a business owner trying to build something bigger, your financials matter. JSJ Consultants helps businesses with bookkeeping, accounting, financial organization, and strategic financial guidance so you can stay focused on growth, branding, and opportunity. If you're serious about building your future the right way, make sure your numbers are too. JSJ Consultants, financial clarity behind the success. Thank you to the great people at JSJ, and there's the man himself, our own Protect You, Mel Kiper. He's been getting out there and he's been getting active in making sure that our guys stay true on the recruiting trail. We are, of course, talking about our man, Chase King. Chase, welcome back into the studio, man. I missed you last week.
I know, it's been a few weeks.
Yeah, I wish we would have had the picture of you in the suit, though, getting off the bus. Like,
with headphones and you like
it. Dude, that's my favorite picture.
I can tell.
I mean, you look
out of a meeting,
like you look like that you were on something. I don't know, like a big business meeting.
It was actually my first college football game ever coaching, like full time. So
okay, can you send that picture to me so I can get the producers to add that?
Absolutely.
And I want that to be like the last picture.
Gotcha.
And we just leave it up for a couple seconds. Tell Computer G's, hey, don't let that fly too late. Let it sit for 6 seconds. Yeah. Give us 6 seconds on that. But anyway, welcome back, Chase.
Glad to be back.
If you're here, you know what that means.
Hey,
we must be doing something.
Yeah.
It must be some new to the crew because we don't just bring you in just to bring in offers.
Nah.
But we got to talk about the offers that we've been getting here.
Okay, we're going there first, Jake.
We're going to go there first.
All
because this makes it now not only 16 straight episodes where we are mentioning new offers for the Protect You crew, but we set a record last week for 25 offers for the crew members, and we thought that was incredible. Blown out of the water, we have breached 31 new offers for members of the Protect You crew coming into this week's episode.
Wait, 31 offers in 1 week?
Yes.
1 week.
Different.
That's different.
Yes.
The Protect You way.
A nice little intro to camp season, so we can.
True that.
We're picking up some solid traction here when it comes to guys getting those OVs ready, getting their camps ready. And
before we get too far into that, because I don't want Mama Tiffany to get mad.
No.
The camera on me, Computer Jesus. I got to give Bring it over. Here we go. We're live. Hey, happy Mother's Day to Miss Tiffany, Chase's mom. So happy. And I know you're proud of your son. We're proud of him as well. Can't wait to either have you here or Chase and I come back to Memphis, Tennessee, our hometown, to come love on you, Mom. Chase, you want to say anything to Mom in your camera?
Not much. Just love you, Mom. Can't wait to get back and see you, and wish we were there on Mother's Day. Put me on the spot there, huh?
Well, dude, she loves all of our stuff.
I see that.
Every time I post and you're on it, she hearts it.
Yeah.
You're a baby.
Yeah. Always will be.
It's so crazy that I grew up with her and grew up with your dad.
Didn't know it.
I'm showing my age.
Yeah, you are.
I'm showing my age, dog. Still crazy how I knew your parents. And the thing about it, separately. Like I knew them. Like I knew Tiffany when she was in like 7th, 8th, 9th grade. And I've known his dad since his dad was like, I think I was a sophomore or junior in college, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And not even knowing, that they ended up getting married and all the things. But then they produced Chase Kuiper.
She's not going to know the reference.
She will not know the reference. She's like, Chase Kuiper.
I'm getting a text right now.
Yeah. Who's Kuiper? Your last name's King.
Yeah, that's
It's
awesome.
a small world.
Small world. Anyway, so sorry, Jake, to get you all the picture, but
don't sweat it. Don't sweat it, because like we said, it's that Protect You Trinity. It's all about making sure that we take care of things on the field, what we do here at Protection United, but then that family aspect is really what brings it home. And that's why I think so many of our athletes are attractive to these schools at the next level. And we're going to start out here with a guy that we have been incredibly excited to talk about. We talked about him last week. We introduced him last week. We talked with Matt Malatessa about him last week. And now we get a chance to talk about the 5 red-hot offers that he has brought in. We are, of course, referring to our man, Azarian Fields. And we'll start off by taking it out to bright and sunny California as USC shot him an offer over this past week. Congratulations on picking up that offer from the Trojans. We keep it moving. We'll move over now to the opposite, to the Atlantic coast, where Miami and the ACC have also shot him an offer. We'll bring it back in here to the Big 12, into the great state of Texas, as Baylor shot him an offer, a very recent one as well, making it 11 offers total. TCU also shot an offer Azarian's direction. And then last but certainly not least, maintaining that Big 12 connection, is Arizona. Azarian, we are incredibly excited to see, because, man, those are some big-time schools coming in for a class of 2029 guy that has been building up a lot of steam when it comes to his hype going into next season.
Yeah, maybe the hottest guy on the crew. As we may not be talking about
that's
him for a while.
That's high praise. And Jason, I got to believe you, man.
Yeah. I mean, no, and here's the deal. I mean, guys, we're talking about a kid that he hasn't even played underneath those Friday night lights yet. Like that's the thing that's crazy. But when you recognize, I mean, I'm already calling him a man-child monster. I forgot what I put on his Twitter every time I requote, but I'm just like, dude, he's a freak.
Yeah, no.
That's why I think the curse, Javion curse, right? I just think that's gonna be, man. I love this kid.
Yeah.
It's easy to see why so many other schools love him as well. Congratulations, Azarian, on those big-time offers. We're going to continue to work for you to continue to build momentum off of these ones. And then let's carry it over now to a class of 2028, as our guy, J. Storm Knight, also picked up some big-time offers. He got 3 of them over the last week, and we'll start out with Duke shooting an offer his way. The Blue Devils trying to lure him out to the East Coast. And then our great connections at Kansas State also sent J. Storm an offer, one of his most recent offers. And then last but certainly not least is Wake Forest. ACC rolling deep with the members of the Protect You crew.
Yeah, bro. Hey, a storm is still brewing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, when you're a John of a man and you're, who you are, these offers are going to continue to come. I mean, what does this make, like 35?
Yeah.
No, 30?
30. I think we're right on 30.
Yeah, 30 offers. Maybe it's passed because it was 30 before.
30, 31. But
yeah. I mean, these are 2028.
Yeah. And he's got the schedule coming up with Cornerstone. You're going to be.
Oh, bro. Yeah. I mean, when you're going against IMG, you got Austin Westlake is on that schedule. Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of eyes on those games. And there are going to be a lot of eyes on J. Storm as he continues to build up momentum on the recruiting trail. And another guy that is step by step right there with him is our man, Superman. Dylan Mitchell. Picked up an offer from USC. This one coming into us yesterday. Congratulations, Dylan. I think he's hit just about every major D1 school at this rate. If there's a Power 4 school that hasn't hopped on the Dylan Mitchell bandwagon, you better get on now because it's just going to keep going up from here.
I think the other schools like, we ain't got no chance.
We'll start getting those re-offers here soon. He'll get doubled up on offers.
Dylan. I mean, he's the fastest human in the world, baby. The whole world. He's the fastest 16-year-old, and we represent him here at Protection United.
Yeah.
Does that make us the best too?
I think it does, Jay.
We get on that Kate?
I think it does.
Okay.
I think it does. And it's, again, continuing to talk about some of the newer and some of the fresh guys here. We've had so many repeats, but it's because they continue to get out there and prove their stuff. And a guy that has been doing that in spades is our man, Brandon Hebert, as he also picked up 3 solid offers over the past week. And we'll start off by mentioning Kansas State.
Hey.
Good to see that for Brandon here, continuing to pick up some Big 12 motion on his recruiting trail. And the 2 other schools that also decided to hop on and throw an offer his direction are Prairie View A&M. That one happening just a couple of days ago. And then one that happened last night was Jamestown. Hey, may as well throw your hat in the ring. Congratulations on Brandon for picking up these offers.
I like it. You know, Jamestown and Prairie View. It's like, you know, when you're single and you're in college and you see like the prettiest girl on a college campus, you're like, you know what? Go shoot a shot.
Shoot a shot.
I'm going to say hey to her. I don't care if she looks the other direction. At least I know that I went down swinging. So, but that being said, I salute you, Jamestown and Prairie View A&M. But I will say, though, in all seriousness, guys, you just named 3 people. Brandon Hebert, you went Dylan Mitchell, right? And then you also went Jay Storm Knight. Guys, I'm going to go back in time. Remember, all 3 of these young men played on the same select Little League football team.
That's wild to me. That is absolutely
like,
wild.
Are you kidding me?
How is that fair?
Are you kidding me, dog? Like, you got 2 tackles.
No pressure is coming off the edge.
So Dylan could go east to west the whole game.
Yeah.
and be straight. Like, come on, man. Anyway, I got to watch this team in person, guys. I'm telling you.
You were plotting back then.
They were beating the crap out of my teams. And I was sitting there looking like.
Taking notes.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't coaching. Let me throw that out there. I was coaching Jalen's level. But my other guys were getting mud rolled by this squad. And I'm just like, yeah, them dudes are going to be special.
Yeah.
And we rep all 3 of them.
You're right.
Yeah, we do.
You're right.
Yeah, we do. Let's carry it over now to Ridge Point as we talk about 2 members of the Protect You crew that have picked up some rock solid traction. Let's start out with Logan Davis, who picked up a 5-piece over this past week. 5 offers coming in. One of them
the biscuit.
incredibly recently. Let's start with Kansas State looking to try and keep Logan in that purple and white. Shooting him an offer just this morning. Congratulations on picking up that big time offer, a P4.
Bro, listen to it, man. Big shout out to my dog, Trey Scott. I mean, you know, you talk about a general manager that is willing to listen, right? He don't hide behind analytics. He don't hide behind just, huddle film. He wants to know, like, what's the real? And I was able to explain to him the politics that Logan has had to go through, right? But guess what? This young man not only faced that adversity, but he kicked those doors wide open and he was like, hey, look here. Know that every time I get on that field, I have made an impact, right? I can't control when the coach puts me out there, but when I have been out there, I've done my thing. And that was enough for Trey. That was enough for the defensive coordinator, the DB coach. They're all in love with him. Guys, the OV's already set, baby. Let's go.
I think that's a testament to you, though, Jay, as well, is being able to call them and they know that you're not going to send a BS or some fluff. They trust in you and your evaluation as well. So I think it's a testament, to you and Protect You, and also obviously Logan's the work he's put in throughout the, his career.
Yeah.
Proud of him. Once again, building a rock solid ship, one that you're willing to take out to sea. And Kansas State wanted to hop on that one as well. Let's keep it rolling here as UL Lafayette also shot an offer his direction. And then let's keep it in the boot state. Let's keep it in Louisiana as La Tech also shot an offer Logan's direction. Now let's move over to Mormon country. Utah State also shot an offer his way. And then the 5th and final offer is UTRGV, UT Rio Grande Valley, shooting an offer towards Logan, making it 5 total for our man Logan.
I agree. And I love the fact, and I love how Logan's building Chase that portfolio too, brother. I mean, of course, the UTRGV one, right? We know what level they're on, but to get a Utah State, right? To get a La Tech, a UL Lafayette, those are a strong group of 5 schools, right? To go with that, obviously, P4 with Kansas State. I mean, I love the fact that he has options and where he's going to continue to stay in control of his destiny.
Yep.
Yeah, and let's remain out there with Ridgepoint as our guy Bryson Dossett also picked up 2 offers over the past week. We'll start out keeping it in Big 12 country. Iowa State shot him an offer. That one very recent as well. Congratulations on making it now 21 total D1 offers for our man Bryson Dossett. And then let's show a little love as well to the Rebels out there at UNLV. Congratulations, Bryson, on continuing to stay hot, continuing to build off of that momentum. And he's been getting after it in not only the track circuit, but then also showing off a little bit of baseball as well.
Yeah, hey, he's a well-rounded athlete, man. Hey, college coaches love that.
Absolutely. That they do. Diverse skill set there. Let's carry it over now to the DFW area for our man Kingston Byer as he picked up an offer from UTEP, trying to get his services as a game-wrecking defensive lineman. Congratulations, Kingston, on remaining hot and picking up even more offers. Let's move now over back here to the greater Houston area for our man, James Cabarrus. James picked up 3 offers over the past week, starting with New Mexico. We have some deep connections over there. We know that those guys in New Mexico love them some Protect You DBs. Congratulations, James, for picking that one up, as well as Lamar, the Cardinals, trying to get him over as well. And then school that we mentioned once before, we're going to mention them once more after this, and that is Prairie View A&M. Congratulations, James, on making it dang near double-digit offers on your sheet. Congratulations, man.
Love that by James. And look, he's almost there, Jake. That graphic.
That is true.
He's one away.
One away. And we are not a broken record when we talk about this next batch of offers for our guy, Jordan White. He's got a very similar rundown, the exact same rundown that James had here. Starting out with New Mexico, shooting an offer Jordan's way, making it 14 D1 offers with that one. Lamar also shot an offer his way. I think they were just making the rounds when it came to members of the Protect You crew.
Yeah. You know, it was like an Oprah Winfrey show where it's like, you get an offer, you get an offer. The same school. It was like, I'll take this corner and you too. I'll take both corners.
Literally.
Y'all both come.
Say, keep that chemistry together, bring it right on over. And then last but not least, Prairie View A&M also sent an offer his way, making it 16 offers for our man, Jordan White. Congratulations, Jordan. And now let's take it on over to the Buckeye State for Ohio and our man, Marcus Myers, as he picked up 3 offers over the past week as well. Starting off with VMI. Hey, good to hear that you continue to build up some solid momentum here, Marcus. We are doing everything we can to get your name out there, and this is just one step in the right direction to keep that snowball rolling downhill.
Yeah, I hope we're making Mama happy.
Yeah,
I hope Mother's Day.
And to y'all's point, Marcus really balled into what we did here. We had a great meeting with him, me, Madison, and kind of went over the process and the steps it was going to take. And he was like, look, I understand it. And his whole mindset was putting in the work, and then the rest would come. And sure enough, we're reaping it now.
Absolutely, man. And then we'll keep it going here as Charleston also shot an offer his direction for his second offer. And then last but certainly not least, one of the best looking logos I think we're going to see out of this whole batch. Lake Erie College also shot an offer Marcus's direction, the Storm. Look at that.
I don't know how many games they won, but they won the,
They definitely won the mascot tournament, I'll tell you that much.
Ooh, that's an angry Storm, too. He doesn't even look happy. Maybe they only won a couple of games.
Hey, either way, maybe Marcus is the piece that they're looking for to continue to shore up that offensive line. Congratulations, Marcus, on 3 great offers to build up your rap sheet and to build up that resume moving forward. Got 2 more guys here to talk about, and we'll start with Tony Guillory as he picked up an offer from the Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin. Axum Jacks got some deep connections there at Stephen F. And we are very happy for you, Tony, to continue to, like we said, build up that momentum. You came onto the scene as a member of the Protect You crew, and it has been red hot ever since.
Yeah, bro. Happy for my guy. So happy. I mean, I still remember that Zoom with his dad, and he wanted somebody to be working hard for his son and sons, I should say, right? And I think that we are honoring our commitment.
Absolutely. No, fired up for Tony, and he does it off the field as well. As we were with him last week and honoring him at a all academic event as well. So you get, he's the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And then last but certainly not least is our man, Michael White, as he picked up Prairie View A&M. Prairie View A&M getting after it when it comes to the Protect You crew members, but we love to see that. Congratulations, Michael, on picking up this offer and rounding out this fantastic batch of offers for members of the Protect You crew. Let's see if we can make it 17 straight.
Surprised you never take a sip of water.
Holy cow.
I was getting winded for you.
You gotta be long-winded when it comes to talking about offers for the Protect You crew.
I like that. Like Jay's like mystical on the mic, baby.
I will say we kind of prepped you for it. You know, you
That's
kind of
true.
got here and now we maxed it out at 31.
You know,
That's true. Hey,
And I'm texting him as he's driving over. Hey man, you gotta add this offer. Now you gotta add this offer. Jay's like,
so you called me this morning of like, hey man, we gotta add this one. We gotta talk about this one.
I was like, you gotta do it, Jay.
Hey, we were on top of it. Shout outs to our producer, Computer Jesus, for being on top of that as well, loading up all these offers. It really does show the strength of what Protection United is all about, working behind the scenes and maintaining those meaningful connections with all of these coaches at the next level. And it opens up so many doors and it opens up so many opportunities, not just for us to connect with those programs, but to connect with the athletes that they are a part of. And Chase, as we move now into rolling out the red carpet to the newest members of the Protect You crew, tell us just a little bit about this first guy that we have here as we introduce the man, Chase Elrod, to the Protect You crew.
Yeah, massive, massive human being. You know, 6'7", as you see, he's, you know, has that UTEP gear on. That's his OV. Was actually, you know, fortunate enough to kind of plan the OV, be around the parents, you know, from Christy, Frankie, you know.
You actually recruited this guy.
Yeah, recruited him, was a big part of it, you know, from unofficial visits.
Oh my God.
To when he committed in the summer. Yeah, just as you see, just massive, 6'7", 310. That should say enough for most people. But you'll see throughout these clips, you know, his physicality takes over, right? You know, right here, just kind of, and then he just throws that extra little oomph at the end on the kids too, which you love to see from an O lineman. But he displays great footwork as well. So not just that one trick pony of being big, but he, you know, he has that athleticism to him. But again, brings that physicality. Here you're going to see, you know, that athleticism coming out, you know, getting on that outside edge.
Oh man.
my God.
One thing I will say to Chase, I hope they're listening. We don't need to help him up next time. I don't like that, but everything else was phenomenal. Was phenomenal. No, and just another reaches this end. Just great athleticism. Be able to move that well at 6'7" is, you know, obviously intriguing to the UTEP staff, but to all coaches, you know, college coaches out there. But really going back to being able to recruit Chase and the family, just great group of people, kind of fit the whole Protection U Trinity that we talk about. And really, and I told them this the other night, was they were the only 2026 class that I called. So that kind of tells you, you know, who he is off the field as a kid, but also that work ethic that he's willing to put in, also that we're willing to invest too, because we know what he's going to do. Just extremely fired up to have them back a part of, you know, a different family, but the family.
Yeah.
And just excited for the future.
Love to hear that, man. Love to hear that.
Super excited for this young man.
Oh yeah, his potential's out this roof, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and I think for me too, what made me so excited about him was the fact that when we're on this Zoom and you see dad, right? Then you see stepmom, you see mom, right? You know, I think maybe stepdad on the other side was there. But they all were there for Chase, right? And, you know, to your point, you know, Chase Kane. I'm about to say Kuiper. Sorry, Tiffany. Chase King. But I mean, what I love about that is the fact that when you see a whole family come together and they're there for Chase, right? They were there for him. And you know, that Protect You Trinity is true, right? I mean, it's going to always be the main thing of the athlete, but then we also want to also make sure that we do our parts here at Protect United. But none of this works if you don't have supportive, you know, parents, if you don't have a supportive, you know, just group that's going to protect you and guide you through this whole process. And I know for me, that was just a joy to see that they all were there for him and what was his best interest. And then most importantly, they were rooting for him.
Yes. Yep. It's easy to see why that guy has gotten so much support around him because, like you said, Chase, not only does he take care of things on the field, like we saw during that film of just getting after those guys that are lined up across from him, but he has that great personality side of it. Even in just the brief conversations we were able to have with him, he had such a bright personality. He was intuitive. He wanted to understand a lot more about what it was Protection United could offer. He had questions ready for us. All of that stuff really brings forward the complete athlete side of things and the complete athletes that we're honored to represent here and welcome in to the Protect You crew. And then we got to talk about and bring it back over to the high school side, the class of 2027, and our guy, Meacham Hall, Klein Oak defensive back. This young man, you're going to look at this footage here that we have for his highlight reel, and you're going to understand why this young man has, I think, a little bit of that underdog mentality to him in terms of being overlooked by maybe some of the schools, but he takes care of it when he's needed to.
Yeah,
no separation.
I might still your line here, Jay. I know you don't like that.
No, go ahead. Still,
But Meach Island, I think we can call it Meach Island.
I like Meach Island. Hey, by the way, you can always steal my line as long as you give the credit.
You like it? Just throw the ad in there.
Yeah, throw that in.
No, but Meach is really all things you want out of a cornerback. Here, you're just going to see the physicality on the outside. But as you saw from the first few clips, also no separation. We just said it, Meach Island, step for step, mirrors them, goes up, contests the ball at the right time, high points that ball. Is just like I said, it's no air to breathe on that outside there at Klein Oak, but love it here. Great patience. Doesn't get a flag. Like I said, patience, waits for that timing, and then, breaks that ball up. Here, just straight motor. You're going to see it. Could have given up on this play, but he's going to come from this backside, make a tackle, and potentially save a touchdown. Wow. And to y'all's point, we do call it DBU here, and that's what we kind of saw in Meach, from being able that holistic cornerback, being able to support in the run game, shows his hips, fluidity, and then again being able to be on that island. That's what college coaches are going to want to see, and that's what we look forward to be seen in this fall is just no separation, just no touchdowns allowed, no catches allowed, and that's why it's going to be well known Meach Island here soon.
Hey. Dude, and I love the fact that, these coaches are giving them the freedom to jam. Most defensive coordinators in high school were like, no, sit 5 to 7 yards, bend but don't break. I like the fact that they're like, hey, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
You're right. If you're going to be that guy, be that guy. And to your point, Chase, I see this young man transitioning very nice. And because, we are DBU here at Protection United, we have opportunities to basically tell some of these general managers, hey, you might miss out on maybe the top guy that you wanted, but we got another guy, and we got another guy, and we got another guy. So I expect a lot of phone calls coming, Meacham's way. These first 4 games of the season are going to be huge for him. But, once again, a great young man, a family, great family. They came in and they were like, hey, we need your help. We need you guys. Take over his social media. The fact that we're helping build his resume on his X profile by our guy, Big J, a.k.a. Social Media J, doing his thing with his team. And now we've been able to continue to help build his platform. And, Chase, I think it'll make your job a little bit easier in regards of helping them get recruited.
Yeah, when I can go take those clips one-on-one, that's all you need. There's not a safety over help. It's, like you said, makes my job a lot easier and just straight to the point with these coaches and, show them exactly what they want.
Hey, we love that, man. We love that. And we love to welcome in, as always, the great members of the Protection United crew. Chase, you make our job so much easier here, breaking down all of this film and highlighting the true strengths of these athletes.
I sucked last week at it. I remember we announced Zarian, and I'm just like, man. Yeah, I know you were like, Jay, you made the mom cry. I'm like, yeah, that was the emotional side. I'm talking about the technical side. You come on, man, and you get me and Jake excited. You get me fired. I'm ready for August, baby. Let's go.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I am fired up for August. Don't get me wrong. But
there's a lot of excitement to come here, and there's a lot of excitement to come not only throughout the season, but as we continue on here on the Protect You podcast, as we get ready to transition over and welcome back in Jason Phillips for another segment of Keeping It Real with Jay Phil.
Good looking.
Oh, look at that. You got to play a little running back?
No.
Was that an interception? That was a pick? Was that a house call?
No.
That's my first time seeing your photo.
The guy in that picture chopped my feet off. Going down. That's why I had my hand on the ground.
I like it.
But thank you, Jason, for sending over those pictures here, really getting to show off the completeness of what your journey was really like, going from that underdog, like we've talked about in these past couple episodes, to an NFL guy that got out there and showed off on the big stage.
And those pictures are not AI generated.
No.
That's real.
We can't make this with AI. And you know me, I like to show off. So.
You do. No, you do. And brother, and you did it well. You did it well. So, Jason, last time you were in the studio, right? We left off, you were walking off the field, last college game. Now you're getting ready to go to the combine, right? We kind of walked through that. So let's start there, where it went from combine to draft, or were you undrafted free agent, and then walk us to that first time of making that NFL squad.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I got done
went into the whole training thing, and we just trained at TCU. We had a great strength coach there. He let us come back. We'd have to pay a lot of money or anything. We worked out with the TCU team, went to the combine. Everything was going great. Great 40 time, weighed what I wanted to weigh. Just must have hit the turf wrong, blew my knee out, and went from the number 2 inside backer to basically off the board. I had 30 of the 32 teams lined up to go visit before the draft. And then after I told the scouts that I was having surgery, that dropped down to about 2. It was Baltimore and Buffalo. And so that was a little bit of a blow, but can't really do much about it. And so I went to those, Baltimore, went to Buffalo, ended up getting drafted in the 5th round, and then went to Baltimore out there and spent a year on the IR, and then came in my next year and had a good year. And then next year got traded and then went to Carolina, and then that was a career. But it was an interesting up and down ride.
Yeah. So, bro, so let's go back a little bit though on that knee, because I mean, you talk about once again, you know, because as you've been here telling these amazing stories, in the midst of your stories, you've already faced adversity twice. Now here comes the third one, and this is to be potentially a knockout. So you tore your knee up like training for the combine?
Well, I did it at the combine,
Oh,
the
at the
actual
combine.
combine. Yeah, I never had any injuries, big injuries. I had little scopes and stuff throughout my career at college, but never had anything that would substantially knock me down. And then I go to the combine, and we're just doing a little shuffle, backpedal drill. And when I put my foot in the ground to backpedal, one of the Ravens guys, when I went up there, actually was showing me the film, and you could kind of see my knee give a little bit, and it just popped a little bit of my ACL and then my meniscus, and had to get that fixed. And so that had me on non-weight bearing for 6 weeks, and then had to come out of that. But yeah, it was rough. I mean, but that's football and that's life. You know, you're gonna get hit in the mouth, and so you just get up and swing back. But it definitely gave me appreciation for where I was, where I could go, but also for what I was doing in the moment. You know, not to take anything for granted or look too far ahead or get caught in the back. You know, or looking back in the mirror. Just stay focused on what's ahead. You know.
So tell us, like, how did that contract look where you tear your ACL? And the Ravens, they did still draft you, correct?
Yeah.
Even though they knew you were going to be out for a whole year. What did that look like from a negotiation standpoint with you and your agent and the Ravens?
So I had a great agent. Jordan Warrior was my agent, and he did a great job with me as far as keeping me in the NFL. You know, that's how I got vested. That's how I got to year 5. The other thing that helped me stay in and as far as the contract goes, the only thing I had different in mind was I had what was called a split in my contract. So anytime I went to IR, I think I got either 75% or 60% of my contract, like payment, you know. But the upfront money was all the same. The signing bonus was all the same. But the split came into a little later when I got hurt again and again. But the biggest thing for me was being able to get those credited seasons to get to that vested year, you know. And so Jordan did a great job of getting those contracts in place, and then I had to go out and make the team. You know, I was never a guy that was automatically on the 53-man roster, and so it was always a dogfight. But once I made the team, it was just understanding my role and knowing, look, I'm a scout team guy, I'm a special teams guy. You know, if they ask me to play, I'll be ready to go. And keeping that mindset is what helped me stay in the NFL, but it's also what helped me get in the NFL. Because when I got hurt, you have to change your way of thinking and know that you're going to go from the MVP on the team to the scout team guy. And if you can't take ownership of that role, execute that role to your best ability, you're not going to be valuable enough for that team to keep you. And so just reminding myself over and over that I was in the NFL, I was going for the dream that I wanted, but I knew I had to recalibrate how I thought if I was going to take ownership of that new role.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that too, Jason, because I've seen college athletes, you know, they're like, I'm a receiver or I'm a running back. I'm not a special teams guy. And I've tried to mentor them and educate them on, like, guys, like, people make money being special team guys. Like, you realize that's a real thing, but yet it's almost like a lot of these athletes have that little league mentality of special teams are not important. You know, talk to us a little bit about truly when you recognize the importance, and what message would you put out to these young athletes when they think they're too good to play a certain position?
And that's the mindset of a lot of them, is they think they're above the work, or they're above giving a good look, or above being a good scout team player. And it's not about that. It's about what is your value to the team and how do you amplify that value the most you can. And I knew going in that special teams was going to be a big part of what I did, just based on the type of player I was, but also what linebackers do. You know, that's a position that safety, linebacker, a lot of those guys are going to be big special team contributors. And so that's one reason I was glad I went to the Ravens. You know, John Harbaugh was a big special teams guy, and he's probably the reason I was able to make it to year 5 in the NFL, because they put such an emphasis on special teams. And I never really thought about it that way, but going in, learning the techniques they did, the hip pull through on block, the way they blocked punts, the way they locked people down, the way they took target lines on kickoff return, all those little things is what helped me stay in the NFL. It's helped me get to Carolina and back up a guy like Luke, but also be a great special teams player. Or go to Philadelphia and be around a guy like D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah.
But then also understand, okay, that's what he does. This is what I do. And take ownership of that. A lot of guys don't want to take ownership because they think it's a step down. It's not. You're in the NFL. You know, the NFL is where the grown men play. And if you can't take ownership of your role and you can't execute that to the best of your ability, they're not going to keep you around. You know, they used to say all the time when I was in the NFL, the more you can do. It was just always, every team I went to, the more you can do. And it just meant the more valuable you can make yourself, more likely you're going to make the team. And so if you could be a great backup Mike, Sam, and Will, so maybe they can dress 2 linebackers and not have to dress 3, so they can dress another lineman. If you can be a great scout team guy and give that look of, okay, they got Luke Kuechly on defense, can you kind of look like Luke in practice? And can you give those offensive linemen the right angles, the right, you know, where they're going to be at the point of attack? And it was a big part of my career, and I don't understand the, you know, I'm too good mindset. You know, if you ever think that's not my job, you're going to be in trouble, you know, in life.
Yeah, no, and it's funny, you know, kind of bringing that over for me, like in the business world. You know, that's what I love the most, you know, about you know, there's a guy here to my left, as well as, you know, Chase King, right, guy that just left, as well as, you know, Big J, Madison, you know, Addie, Logan, Ashley, Derek, Hazel, and obviously everyone else that we, you know, have, you know, strategic partnerships with, is that everybody wears multiple hats and they take ownership. You know, I love the fact that, you know, you'll have somebody say, hey, I'll help you here. I'll jump in here. Like, I'll help you with this, help you with that. And it's not their job responsibility, but yet they're not too good, you know, for that. And, you know, that's how I want to build my team, you know, as well. So Jason, you coming from, you know, a team, you know, atmosphere, and then you being able to be that separator got you to the league, right? But I think I got to ask the question that all the fans really want to know. Tell us your first time meeting Ray Lewis.
So yeah, I was a little bit starstruck. I'm not a big fan of a lot of people, but I had grown up watching Ray, you know what I mean? And it was Ray Lewis, you know what I mean? He's just got a presence about him. And I remember being around him and wanting to gain his respect. I really wanted to try to be best friends with him so I could, you know, talk 10 years down the road about how great friends we were. But I wanted to be a guy that gained his respect enough that he enjoyed playing with me. He knew I was going to come in if I had to be next to him or backing him up. He knew I was going to do my job. And so I knew going into it that if I could show him that I was serious about scouting, if I was serious about special teams, he would look at me as, okay, the guy's doing his job to the best of his ability. But it was a little nerve-wracking to know that I was looking at a guy that I had looked up to my whole life, that I was playing with, that I was conversing with, that I was talking with, that was helping me on the field, showing me different things, where to put my footwork, where to put my hand placement. But I was a little nerve-wracked at first, I have to admit. Like, I'd never really thought I would be there.
So was it a team meeting? Talk to us about the details there.
We came in for, because he wasn't at our rookie OTAs, but he was at the fall camp that year. And he was just kind of at his little locker in the corner, and I walked over and just introduced myself to him, nervous. And I remember he was just like, yeah, I'm Ray. And I was kind of like, yeah. But he was real cool, man. He was real humble, real laid back, carried his water bottle with him everywhere he went. Well, a gallon of water, not a water bottle.
It's like Chase King. Chase does that. He's on the Zoom just chugging water. Like,
yeah, but his approach to everything is what really impressed me. Just to the little, you know, he would do 3 things on a little notebook, a little note card before we went out to practice. And it wasn't, you know, run at the ball. It was detailed, you know, this is what I've got to do to get better, pick up my feet, run through traffic, take the inside away on the running back. Whatever it was so methodical, and it was scary to be around a little bit, you know? But it wasn't anything big. I just went up, introduced myself to him. And I remember when he slapped me on my back, it like, you ever been like, you seen a baby when you're birthing? I was like, God, mighty, he has some massive hands, but he was a cool guy, real laid back. that whole room, man, that whole room, the 2.5 years I was there were a lot of great players.
And that was like when Shannon Sharp was there, Goose was there too, right?
We had Haloti Nada, Jared Johnson was in, as far as linebackers go, it was Prescott Burgess, Dallin Ellaby, Jamil Klain, Various Gooden, Ray, me, Jared Johnson. There was a couple of, Paul Kruger was in there for a little while. But it was just a awesome room. But then you could see Ray when he would step into that leadership role and then he would step out. And it wasn't two different people, but it was definitely two different energies coming from him.
Right.
You know, he knew how to tone it down when he had to and then bark out words when he had to.
Yeah. And I remember watching Hard Knocks, right? And that wasn't the seasons that you were there.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing, you know, to your point of when Ray would fall back and kind of let the team lead itself. But then when he needed to step up and be that leader, he would. And I could tell by the show that he was a man that wanted everyone to, like, you know, earn, right? You know, so not almost where like he forced his respect on everybody. But so what we saw on the cameras was the real Ray.
Yeah, that's one thing I try to tell people when they ask me about playing with Ray or being around him was he does know how to lead in the right moments, but he's authentic. You know, everything he does is from the heart. It's real, and he's not gonna BS you in any way. He's gonna tell you what he thinks, but he's also gonna know when to step in and be the role model, be the hard voice you need, telling you the hard truth, or just be the guy that says, "Good job." You know, that was great. But he was definitely authentic, definitely humble, and man, he was just a lot of fun to be around.
Yeah,
he just had that ability to kind of spark other people around him to kind of want to be better for themselves, you know. And it was interesting. It was awesome to be around.
Okay, I like that. So now next time you come on, that's when we'll go to Carolina. Okay, but
I can tell you about my nickname there.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait for that. But to conclude your journey in Baltimore, last two questions here. First one is, what was the funniest or craziest thing that you got to witness or be a part of in Baltimore?
When I was in Baltimore, you know, one of the coolest things to see was watching Ray and Haloti Nada, who I don't know if you guys don't know. He's like 360 pounds, a monster. They would wrestle each other like every other day going in because they were both wrestlers, you know, in high school.
Oh, okay.
On the field when we were either going out to practice or coming in. And you could see where they learned how to be great football players by watching those guys wrestle each other. But it was also like watching two brown bears get after it. You know what I mean? Like, these are two, Hall of Famers out there wrestling each other before and after 2 days practice. And this was back when you had 2 days. And I remember looking at them thinking, all right, that's a different monster right there. That's two Hall of Fame guys just wrestling for fun after we just got done with practice number 2. I was like, yeah, I need to stick my game up a little bit because I'm not there yet. But that was pretty cool. And then the other thing was Snoop came out to practice one day when I was in Baltimore.
Okay.
And that was pretty cool because I think him and Ray were boys. And that was the year I was rehabbing my knee. So I was eating lunch after everybody. And so they walk in. I'm just sitting at the table by myself, not thinking they're going to come sit with me. And I look up and there's a bodyguard next to me putting down Snoop's food. Ray sat down. I remember just sitting there kind of terrified. Like, I was like, these two guys I grew up on.
You're like, this Snoop Knight?
It looked like it, I'll be honest with you. But he never sat down. He just kind of stood there, making sure I didn't do anything stupid. But I remember asking Snoop if he still had his green hat from old school.
Oh,
green. Felt stupid as hell. It's like they kind of chuckled, and then they kind of laughed a little bit when they realized I kind of felt stupid about it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what else to say. I mean, what do you say to two guys you grew up watching?
Right.
And they're sitting next to you, and they're just talking like it's another Tuesday.
I love
that. But those were two cool moments. I remember seeing those two guys wrestling, and Snoop is a lot taller than you think.
And he's like 6'4"?
Oh, he's like 6'6". Yeah.
Wow, he's just skinny.
And he asked me why I was in there later than everybody else, and I told him about my knee and all that, and he said, I said, yeah, I blew my knee out. I have to do rehab. And he said, yeah, it's like that. And I was like, no, he's real.
Oh yeah, Snoop don't real.
Those were two moments I was like, okay, I'm in a different world now.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, the last question. What was your most best experience, I should say, in Baltimore?
My best experience in Baltimore. Man, I would have go back to what I was saying before, which was just learning how important special teams was to those guys, and then learning all the different techniques you learned through the whole time. It kind of floored me how technical they could get, how well they worked, and it made it to where I could lock down guys I shouldn't have been on the field with just by doing the technique the right way.
Yeah.
But sitting in those film rooms, listening to that guy talk to me about different techniques they had through all 4 phases of the special teams game really impacted my whole career, because it's the only reason I think that I stayed on those 53-man rosters was because I was technically sound in the kicking game, but also could give a good look on scout team. But I think if I'd have gone to any other team that didn't emphasize that as much, I don't think I would have made it as long as I did. So that definitely helped me as far as getting vested, getting the pension, getting all the stuff that comes later in life out of the NFL. But don't think it would have happened if I'd have gone to any other team.
Okay. No, I love that. Hey, another amazing episode of Keeping It Real with Jay Phil. Dude, I can't wait. Now we get to go to Carolina next time you come on the show, bro.
That's where, like I said, the nickname comes in. It's a good nickname, though. It's a good name.
Like it.
I'll take it.
All right. Y'all tune in a couple of weeks. He'll be back to tell that. I can't wait to hear it.
Jason, you always give us something to look forward to, man.
Hey, I'm trying to do.
Say whether it's imparting wisdom or whether that's giving us a great story, man. Jason, we love having you on. We really do appreciate you taking
I enjoy it every time.
But Jason, like I said, thank you, man. Thank you for coming on here. And as we transition into one last little bit here of news, we'd like to once again thank the sponsor of today's episode, and that is Game One. Looking to elevate your game? At Game One, we come alongside your team to provide custom uniforms, apparel, and equipment built for performance and developed with unmatched service. Plus, our online team and fan stores make it easy for athletes and parents to get custom gear anytime, anywhere. Visit game-one.com today to learn more, because your team deserves the best. So, Jay, we've had some jam-packed episodes in the past, but this one I think might take the cake.
Yeah, bro.
Two in-studio guest interviews.
I know.
31 offers.
Yeah.
2 new members of the Protect You crew.
Yeah, bro.
The return of Chase King.
Yeah.
And Mother's Day.
And Mother's Day.
And we had the breaking news about the CSC.
I know, bro. From the production meetings all the way up until us now concluding this episode, I've been giddy, for 5 days, right? Because I knew how awesome this show was going to be. Obviously, having Jason Phillips come on and just continue to, tell us about his journey and just hearing the feedback from the fans, right? The parents or clients be like, man, I love y'all having Jason on, and he looks like a regular guy. He looks like my kid, can't wait to hear more about his journey. And then, of course, getting to have Sanjay on, right? We talked about the importance of your bookkeeping and your financials and making sure that the taxes are being done the right way. And then they got to see him in person. He's not just a dude that, but I see him on the website. He's a real human being. You got to see him in 3D. But, getting to kind of continue to provide that educational and that mentorship and bringing it all together. And it was a great episode. And I can't wait to watch the replay.
Absolutely. It was one of my favorites. And hey, those of y'all watching, if you liked what you saw, be sure to head on over to the Protection United YouTube channel and click the subscribe button and ring the bell so you get notified every single time that we go live. Folks, that does it for this episode of the Protection United podcast. It has been an absolute blast to bring this one to each and every one of y'all. I've been Jake Wilson alongside Jay Mickens. A special shout out goes to our producer, Justin Woods. And also another shout out goes to our man, Big J, Jay Arnold, organizing the green room. It truly does take a village here to bring this all together. And we hope that you enjoyed watching it. We will catch you all on the next one.